20th of June 2025. The Gardai are complaining, and the Gardai have a problem. And as a retired Garda myself, I might as well make a comment. There are a lot of resignations of people with 4, 5, 6 and often 10 years service. People are just sick of it and they're walking off. And there are opportunities. Not in way back in the 50s, there weren't many opportunities, only the boat. Although I probably had opportunities in my area, and indeed the place I worked for wanted me to stay. And now I'm looking at, did I make a right decision at all? Morale is very low according to them, and that was never any different. It's an old bully by institution. Low morale, very low, because of the awful poor management. The management is abysmal. You could be lucky. You'll meet again. Oh, well, we're down in we have a great super inspector. You'll hear that. There are exceptions, but that's no good. You have to assume you'll get the rail yoke, the rail bad egg. He'll land with you, and they'll tell you, he won't be there too long. He'll be there till he dies or leaves. Now, the challenge of the work. Imagine I spent most of my life in the guards with one finger typing. No typing facilities at all. Very little anyway. And any secretaries are taken all by the big fellas. They can take all. And you could be trying to do an investigation into a serious crime, and they'd send a fellow down from Dublin, and you'd have no secretary, no assistant, and he'd get 4 and a secretary. And then they'd say, you're not doing much of a job, so they could solve it do it a lot easier than you. And they never take into account the imbalance that the ordinary member has to put up with. And the people doing the promotion don't see it at all. They're as blind as bats. So the life balance, and that can be a problem. You see there, I'm still getting abuse on this podcast, and I'm getting abuse online for a long time. An old bent copper. And even in your own society, when you go into a pub, even yet, you'll get an odd bastard, and he'll shout at you, there's a retired guard. An odd bastard. And they're doing it even yet. And I just can't hit them in the pub. If I could get them outside, or get them somewhere, or get them in the toilet, and just draw the boot and give it to him in the shin. That's the job. And break his leg and walk. I saw nothing. I saw nothing, But you'll put up with that. Even I seen it only a couple of months ago. There's tramps every place. And the whole this again, I'll deal with you. And then you have the provost. But I booked them because I said to them, how come the IRA is a communist organisation, and that finished them. But you have to go through that with the hooers bastards, and that's all they are. Now, anyway, so now, there's more leaving now than there is joining. More leaving than joining. Poor morale again. Chaotic management. Chaotic. That's the system. You have an Egypt called Drew Harris, a Lutheran from the north, an old wet, woke idiot. And they can't find a commissioner because there's nobody that could appoint that you could send to England or Paris or America and pass himself off as the commissioner of the guards. Even though down on the ground there's loads of good guards that can't get up. And you'll get a bitter old super or a bitter chief superintendent in 1995 will write on a person he doesn't like, this man is not suitable or this girl is not suitable for promotion, and to this very day that will never be lifted. Drew Harris is incapable of getting that lifted. The lack of support. There is no support. They don't want to know. They throw you the work, you go to hell there and get it done. And if you don't, then they'll have an inspector and he'll put you on a file for not doing it, and he'll go up to the interview board like the lick of meat. Often tried it with me. There's a Detective Sergeant Martin down there, and I caught him for not doing his files. And I disciplined him and he was fined €20. You're a great fella. And they'd make him a superintendent. I'm a superintendent. And the fact what's wrong is he wouldn't give you the resources to do the thing. You wouldn't have any staff to interview. They mightn't even give you a patrol car. They took the patrol cars off me and the detective branch that I wanted to go out and interview people for crimes. And then they try to tell you he's not doing his job. I'll give you nothing. That's the kind of crack there used to be out with me. I had a way of dealing with it. It wasn't as bad as I'm making it, and I made a good lot of money in I made a lot of money. I cleaned them out for every time. We'd stick in bills for overtime, and the super go nuts. You'll end up on a higher pay than me. This was all that was annoying them. And then if there was a crime, they'd start crying. You'd think it was them that was after being robbed. I said to one fella, you cop yourself all, you're fucking 55 years of age, and you're whinging about some lad being robbed. Sure, he could be voting for Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael anyway. He deserves it. Oh, how do you? I'll go up to interview with that. You'll see how far you'll get. Anyway, lack of support, impact on personal and family life. The hours are atrocious. You get extra allowance money for your allowances for working Sunday and public holidays. It's not worth a damn. I got it all. I did educate my family and all. Do you know what? I'd be a richer man today if I never seen it at all. Driving a lorry, because I wouldn't have had the problems, and I'm still not settled as a result. So impact on personal and family life. Now, what's this? The other one is they're heading off to take careers elsewhere. Now, that doesn't mean all the private sector is rosy. There's some villains in it. I know girls work for people and they worked and they're villains. They want you to carry the whole load and blame you for everything. But there's a lot of really good bosses as well. A lot of bosses do it naturally. I was a good boss because I understood what had to be done, and it was hard to bluff. Some lads would be trying to get the better of you and get time off to buy a suit on a Saturday night at 10 o'clock when he wanted to go with the girlfriend. She'd ring him up, will you not bring me out tonight? And he'd land into me and him on duty. You had to be fairly tough. So now, pension. They're not getting the pension. When I was in it, you got a certain pension and that was it. Now, to cut that, the pension I should be getting should be related to my pay for a member now of the same rank. It's not. It's a bit less. And the unions never fought that, and that was a legal point. That was part of the law of contract. They couldn't have cut our pensions, even if they had to be challenged. But I hadn't time to challenge it. I had to go and challenge the windmills. Now, and then if you did get a bit in the pension, some of the main bucks would be getting it too. Some of the mean ones. I'd nearly do it out to see them not getting it. Promotions rigged, of course. You know that. Chief superintendents, commissioners, superintendents, they all ring up on the phone, the interview board, and they get all promoted. And every one of them gets promoted. And you'd wonder why you're not getting it. And they can study, and they know they're getting promoted. And you're studying away, and you don't know it, but you're not going to get promoted. So the thing is, why would you study at all? Lack of a voice, no voice. Now, it is a discipline force. If a judge issues a warrant to arrest a fella down there, you have to go and do it, and they have to make you do it. You just can't pick and choose what you do. But there's no voice. Imagine for 30 years I had to type all my own stuff. Imagine that. No secretary, no nothing. I had 8 people working for me at one time. No one even to come down for an hour to do the books. You had to write up everything yourself. And when I was in a big station, a sergeant in charge before that has a uniform, and I had to write out every gun licence. You'd spend the whole month of August writing out the name of all gun licences and counting up the money. And the board are going mad. That was it. Now, so anyway, what else is there? So the lack of a voice within the organisation. Bullying. That was all. Bullying was a part of... We were fighting against bullying years ago. You might as well be idle as try to stop bullying, because they're going to appoint and make the top men all their own cronies, and they are stupid idiots, and they think that they're right, and they'll bully you, and they think they got promoted on merit. Now, there is an odd good inspector and an odd good superintendent, and I must make it clear. The ordinary guard or sergeant is the victim of this. You needn't be trying to, you're no good. He's the victim of it. Burnout. You get burnt out. So they'll set you a thing, you must have 4 no insurance cases this month, and you must have 2 drunk drivers, and you must solve a burglary. And you do that. And the next month, you done that now. Well, do you know what we'll do? We'll double your targets. And if you achieve them, we'll triple your targets. That's how that's the bog stuff. There's no such thing as saying, you've done a nice amount of work there, you've done a great job, keep that up now, and every month, and you're doing a good job. No, it has to be double and triple and triple. That's all they know. Setting targets, and they never couldn't do it themselves. I knew a chief superintendent who, when he was a guard, he couldn't take a statement of the victim of an assault. Couldn't write a statement, and he got to be a chief superintendent. A demanding public, and that's big time now with these LBGP. He arrested a Gurrier in Dublin, and he says, I'm a woman, and you have to call him a woman. You can do without that baloney. So that's basically it. Should you join? Well, it's very hard to tell them not to. but it must be some mess. There were a crowd of idiots when I was there. Now, if Drew Harris wants to bring me up, or any commissioner, and have a debate on this, or if there's any inquiry, Val Martin will be the first above. And yous try putting me down. I remember every move you did. That's not to say there wasn't some great work done. And that's not to say there weren't some bad colleagues that did bad things. But the likes of me didn't need it. And the other thing too is, you get an odd lad in the guards, or a woman I suppose too, and they're good for nothing, only trouble, and they're always looking for trouble. And they make it, destroy it for everyone, because the officers are on high alert. They're watching that fella, and while they're watching him, they're watching you. So, you can do without that. The other thing then is, a guard will arrive. You're in a nice country area there. You have a few cases in the court, and they'll send a guard in, or they'll send a traffic corps man in, and he'd try to get 5,000 people into the court. Ned Garvey, when he was the commissioner way back in the 80s, he demanded every guard have 200 summonses. 200, no tax, no insurance, bald tires. 200 every month. So that's 10 twos, that's 2,400 a year. He demanded it and pushed it. And he pressurised superintendents and chiefs to not let their guards away without having it. Eventually, Jerry Collins, the Fianna Fáil minister, sacked him. But that's the story. And you don't know what kind of an idiot they'll appoint as commissioner next. So it's very hard to know. Now, one of the things I will advise you, and I made this mistake, I thought that when I joined I was doing a good job for the state and helping the state and helping people in the state. I was wrong. The state doesn't need help. Let them go to hell. And the ordinary people vote Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael and Sinn Féin. Let the gougers kill them and kick them and batter them around the place and rob them and rape them and do everything they like. That's their bloody problem. There was an election last year, and there was someone like myself who go up, and I'd put a fair good police force, fairly good. They wouldn't even entertain you. So the idea that the Irish public deserve a wee bit of good policing is baloney. They deserve nothing. Well, that's not to say. Now, one of the things they wouldn't let in my time, that let you live near enough your station. I should have stayed in my area. Indeed, I could have been a guard or a sergeant in my own local area, not actually in my own, but a bit away, in somewhere maybe 20 miles away. I was too far. At that time, you were expected to be away, and they gave you a station, and you're expected to be in it. If you're a detective sergeant, that's where you had to be. You're expected to live there and be on call. Once you leave, it's all forgotten. And don't ever make the mistake, as some big chief superintendents do, that you have status. You're a nobody when you go. When you're in the job, people are a bit afraid of you and all of that. Once you're retired, you have no status. But the public remember you. As I've said already, they say it's a job for life. Yeah, there's tramps will never let you leave. They'll never say to you, oh, well, you're retired now. They think you're still a guard. And there's some people, and they'll say, once a guard, always a guard. And they think we're still spying for insurance companies. Some guards do. I don't. I bother my head. I fucking know what to do, And then if you look at the difficulty of the critics I have on here, the communists on here, and the Sinn Féiners, they hate the idea that I was able to retire and take up my farm and run my businesses and do my engineering and other things. To them, you're supposed to have a big pair of boots on you and a big old gob on you, like a big old gob, gob on you, and talk about the weather, like that's what they expect of you. The idea that you have a bit of cop on, that's not on at all. I worked for Kingscourt Construction Company, which was the forerunner of Kingspan, and I worked as an assistant fitter. And there was a teacher who used to come down from up around Louth, and he used to do summer work. And he and I would work there doing all kinds of work, and we'd go in for a pint on that. And he heard I was joining the guards, and he tried to stop me. He says, "You don't bother your bee joining the guards. Don't have anything to do with it. You'll end up an old bee like them with a big pair of brogues on you. Are you mad?" he says to me. And he was an educated man. He was a tough boy, good fierce crack. That's the point. But other people said, no, go on, it's a good job, good pensionable job. I can't see Val Martin being stuck for the price of an egg. Not that what he did. But anyway, that's the best I can say to you. It must be very bad. It must be a hellhole. I think we should leave the policing of Ireland to to another type of Micheál Martin's mongrels, a mixture of the Africans and the Pakistanis, and let them police the country. Let them off. We'll see how they'll deal with it. We'll just see. There'll be fun like that. They're not worth it. The commissioner, the ministers, just consider up a bit from here in Nobber. They vote for Helen McEntee. Do they deserve anything? Are they Irish people? They're traitors of the highest order. I know every one of them. They're neighbours of mine. I meet them every day. They are not worth giving any guard that had put his life on the line, or would even get involved in investigating anything for them villains. They would never thank you. They'll do the same old Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. That's the mess they want, and that's the mess to leave them in. But I'm not saying, I do hear another one, but remember too, if some of your pals join the Guards, when they come home, they're never going to say, I don't like it. Most of them will say, oh, it's great, I'm delighted. They lie. Very few people will tell you they didn't like their job. And then when I joined it, you come home on the days off. How do you like the job? Well, what did you expect me to say? Every place you'd go, hello, Val. How do you like your job in the Guards? Do you know what? You can do without that. There's better ways of making a living. And I was in Kevin Street, and there was a guard there. His right name was Boland, if he's ever watching me. He'd be older than me now, but we used to be coming in there at 5:45 in the morning and going home at 6 o'clock and coming in at 10 at night. And he says to me one day, there has to be a better, an easier way of earning a living than this crack. And you know what? Looking back on it, I think there was. Let the chief superintendents, the superintendents, let their sons and daughters do all the mucking. Let them do the guards and all. Let them go to hell. Our government and our people are not worth it. You look at what they're doing with the migration. Do they care about Ireland? Why should you? Let them go to hell. That'll be my way. I wouldn't join it again. I wouldn't join it now. And then the IRA were beating the country. Wouldn't? Sure, what harm? Sure, what was it worth fighting for? Well, I thought we put our life on the line. I was at the graves of many a guard and a few soldiers killed. One soldier for Ireland. And look at what they did when they got Ireland. Look at what the Sinn Féiners that was trying to shoot us has done. Let them go to hell, get a wee job in some other thing, do other studies, try and come up with something else. Even fixing the aircom lines, or they're looking for them, or putting up buildings, or health and safety, or do a study and do a course. And if you don't like the first company you're in, leave it. See, you can't leave the Guards. And you could be happy there in a station, you could be 50 years, 15 years in it, and you like the station, and there'll come a lad over you, and he's full of crap. Full of crap. In our area now, here in Cavan Monaghan, they have the chief officer is in Drogheda, and they're on today that they can't, the guards in Cavan and Monaghan can't get anything. So what they did was to give the chief in Monaghan, the head officer, responsibility for Cavan Monaghan. I don't think it's Meath and Louth. And everything's been spent in Drogheda and Dundalk, and nothing in Cavan or Monaghan. That's what's been said. That's what's been said. There's no liaison between the Guards and the people. If there is any kind of a policing committee, it's a political hacks, old councillors full of crap. Idiots. There's no connection or nothing between the people or anything else. And I talked to a man 5 years ago, and he left. He was a senior crime examiner, and he gave it up. And he said you could tell them who done the crime, and they wouldn't investigate it. So you went out to a scene, let's say in Ballyborough, and you knew that was the track of the hatchet of Joe Soap from maybe Ballygym stuff, for example. And you told the Guards in there, and they wouldn't investigate it. And when I was in it, we would investigate it. But you got no thanks, none whatsoever. It's a thankless old job. Let the state fall down across its ears. It's not worth fighting for, not worth a drop of any effort or sweat. Good luck. Thank you.